dude, we're rolling, man. Steven.
Okay.
Cheers, buddy. Which one's yours? Which one?
Here, we'll go. I got two.
I love it, man. So we're here at the BRI Arcade and Tap Room. Or is it Tap Room and Arcade?
Tap Room and Arcade. I think, yeah.
The only reason I ask is because I know Matt will be real pissed when he hears it,
You got to hit the branding right.
But I love this place. I just did an episode. There you go. Did an episode with him, I don't know, a couple of months ago. We sat right over there, and people love the video games in the background and like the sound and the visuals of it. I mean,
so I'll tell you, like I came down here last week for the first time when Spinatos and BRI, we got together to taste the beer and the pizza. First time in, and I was blown away. I like video games. I grew up, pizzerias and stuff, but I came in here, I was blown away. I took some film, threw together a reel, and it was like one of the most watched, viewed, liked,
really
commented
nice.
on, and because I guess the feedback on it, people are like, "Holy shit, I didn't know this existed."
Yeah,
and are so hyped about coming down here and checking it out. And downtown Mesa is a destination now.
Yeah, it is, man. I mean, even just looking across the street, like what you can see from this window here is incredible. But that's not. It's not about them today, Steven. It's about you, man. Wizard of Za, as some people know you as. Thank you for the sticker, my friend.
Of course.
So is this your official logo now?
That's the tap handle logo.
Okay, gotcha.
Special shout out to same guy who did the artwork for the Wizard of the West at the shop. My good friend, and when I say good friend, I'm not capping as the kids would say. He was in my wedding.
What's capping?
Capping means you are not telling the truth.
Okay.
So if somebody's like, no, I swear, I've only had 2 beers, and they're stumbling around, they're all hammered. You're like, that's cap.
They're cap.
That's cap.
All right, man. I'm learning. I'm learning stuff.
Yeah.
So the same guy did the
same
design.
guy. So
Nice.
as soon as I knew that Aaron over at Spinatos wanted to do artwork for the tap handle, I was like, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know
Hell
a guy.
yeah. I think it's beautiful, man.
It's
Nice
so
work.
sick.
It really is. Well, so how does this all come about, right? I mean, I guess you've been on the podcast before, but give people a quick overview of who the Wizard of Za is.
I do a lot of. I eat a lot of pizza and drink a lot of beer, and I post about it on social media. And Spinatos came to me with the idea of putting together. They're like, hey, build a pizza for our menu, and let's go out and seek a brewery to help pair a beer with it, and we'll create an amazing pairing, and let's launch it. Somebody like Spinatos picks up the phone and says, hey, let's come together and do something cool. It was like, absolutely, I'm on board, sign me up, let's go.
That's cool, man.
And now here we are. We're 2 weeks away. September 2nd is going to be the official launch day. It's a Friday. We're going to do a happy hour thing over at the Spinatos location in Tempe.
Okay, now where is that exactly?
It is, what do they call it? I should have been looking at my notes.
Come on, man.
Spinatos location in Tempe. It's on like Rio Salado and the 101.
Rio Salado 101.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you were coming from Chandler, Gilbert, the east side, you'd 101 exit Rio Salado, head west.
Okay.
And it's like a quarter mile from there.
Nice. I've never been to Spinatos.
It's Anthony from Spinatos will call it like the house on the hill.
Okay.
As you're driving into that shopping complex, it sits up on like a little bit of a perch. It's beautiful. They've got nice windows overlooking it. But huge shout out to Aaron Schultz is the one. In a previous lifetime, we worked together at the Vine in Tempe. Shout out Vine in Tempe.
Oh, you did? Okay, so you knew Erin. Okay, because I knew her from Four Peaks.
Yes, and just knowing her from Four Peaks, I got a lot of good friends that work over at Four Peaks too.
Yeah.
From my previous life in the industry, and when she approached me about it, it was like about putting this pizza beer pairing together. You don't say no, and she is such an instrumental part of everything that's coming together. I've been a part of a few collaborations, and even in daily life with work, business, whatever it may be.
Sure.
She is so detail-oriented, putting everything together, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Yes.
Here's what we're doing. And does it in such a nice way that you still like her.
Yeah. And appreciate it, right? Like,
Yes.
you're like, thank you for putting me in line.
And she's so cool. And she shares a passion for pizza and beer just like I do. So it's a great connection, great team.
Nice.
I love it.
Dude, that's awesome. So, all right, so she comes to you and she's like, hey, let's do this pizza. I want you to build pizza, right? It's like one of those things. It's like now the work begins, right? You accept this thing, and now you're like, shit.
Yeah.
What do I do, right?
Yeah, and exactly. And the thing is, she's been such great guidance for me as far as like when we're putting this all together. Like, okay, here's exactly what we're looking for. Here's the deadline.
Yeah.
You know, let's she was like, put together. Here's our menu, ingredients. Let's put together 3 pizzas. We'll get the BRI guys over. We'll get our Spinatos HR team together. All the people that important team players of Spinatos together. We had a big taste test.
Okay.
Drank a bunch of beer.
Nice.
Ate some pizza.
That's the best part, dude. Right? That's the work, though. Like you have to do that. Yeah.
It's it's gritty. It's gritty. But somebody's got to do it.
For sure. For sure.
So we tried 3 different pizzas. We liked them all, but this one stood out with everybody that it's an electric pie. It's can I share what's on there?
I was going to say, can you share
Yeah,
or
I
swear?
think we
I
can.
can
Yeah,
swear,
yeah.
share,
Yeah,
do whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah.
So
please
we've
do.
got hot Italian beef on there.
You always go, okay, before you get started, you like spicy.
I do like spicy.
The El Bosco, the za
Yeah.
is spicy.
It's got green chilies and jalapenos.
Yeah. All right,
This
so
one
this
at Spinatos, though, hot Italian beef, jardiniere, and red onion. So it's kind of like a play on, they do Chicago tavern style at Spinatos.
Okay. What's that mean?
So it's the thin cut,
Okay.
or I'm sorry, thin crust,
Thin crust.
and then the cut is like the square cut.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so we can get the corner slices. You know, you get
it makes
the middle pieces.
yeah.
I mean, you just ate some there. Okay.
I did, and I even looked over. I'm like, it looks round right now, but it's not.
Yeah, so they're classic Chicago tavern style. And when I was building the pizza, one of the ones we sampled was a white pie. But if you're a fan of Spinatos, and I mean, they've been a staple of Phoenix for a long time, and running a pizza blog on Instagram, I know anybody who talks to me about Spinatos is like their red sauce. Their sauce is their claim to fame. It is so money.
Yeah.
So I was like, we got to do a red sauce.
Yeah.
The hot beef, jardiniere.
What's jardiniere?
Jardiniere is like a banana pepper spicy mix. They put it on the Chicago style dogs.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like a little tip of the hat to
I like that.
to Chicago people, our transplants here.
Yeah.
But it's I say I love spicy, but it is I think just the right amount. It's not overpowering. I mean, you just cracked into you're half a beer in, and you had a couple slices, so it's not too.
Wait, is that the pizza?
That's it, right
oh,
there.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't
there
know
it
that.
is.
Oh, damn, man, I'm behind today. I am. My brain is lagging. That's hilarious. Because I thought that was an interesting choice to like. I was totally in.
Yeah.
Right? But usually when you bring pizza for a group of people, it's like there's pepperoni, maybe a supreme. I'm like, what the hell is that? Dude, Eric, you're here to cover the pizza, man. Yeah. So. All right, I'm getting it all, man.
Eric, you got to drink through the fog, my guy. You got to drink
do.
through the fog.
Oh, man.
Eric had a busy night last night.
I did. It was fantastic. Shout out to Creekside Inn in Sedona. They treated us right for sure. So
love that.
Yeah. All right. So you got the pizza, the design for the pizza done. Do you know how she connected with BRI for this? I'll talk to them about it.
So the idea was once we decided on a pizza, or we had a list of pizzas that we wanted to do, her and I came together, a single 2-person collaboration between 2 beer lovers, and said, what do you think would work for this beer? Like
Style.
who would be style beer? Like we had a couple ideas that we were throwing around, but it was like who would really know, who's got the knowledge to really help us collaborate on a good beer pairing. And Matt and Mark from BRI, I was like, let's actually bring in the scientists, the guys doing the research, who have a passion for the research of beer. And
in their name.
Dude, and when they came in, it's nothing but professional. They came in, they had their cans of beer, the cooler was loaded when we came in for pizza tasting day, and it was just like, we must have talked, it was hour and a half, 2 hours just on beer styles and what would work and how the process would work.
Yeah.
And I was like, these guys are as invested. We made such a great choice. Yeah. And now we got a little sample of the beer that we're going to make for the collab. But just like any true scientist, researcher, these guys are like, yeah, it's good, but it's not perfect. We're going to make a little tweak.
Yeah.
And we're going to get it just right for the second. And to me, that's it, to have that passion to, this is good. Yeah, we'll push it out. They're like, nope, this is good. It's experimental brew number 7 at the Arcade Tap Room. You can come down and taste it now. And then when you come down on the second at Spinatos, you can try the real deal.
Lab test number 7 here.
That's what it is, lab test.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. What'd you call it? Doesn't
Shoot,
matter.
I don't even know. I can't remember 10 seconds ago.
Let's rewind the tape real quick. Yeah. I'm yelling at somebody like, and then it's like, I'm like, that's you that has to rewind that tape. So what'd you guys come up with?
So about the beer, we came up with a American rice lager, 5.5%. Rice lagers have made a little bit of a push in the last few years, so I thought that the style is something that's very marketable, very approachable.
Sure. Yeah.
But when you drink it too, when you're drinking it with a spicy pizza, you don't want 7%, 8%. Hazy or West Coast, which they're 480G. West Coast
For
is
sure.
a knockout too.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that with this pizza. But it's just the perfect complement to a spicy pizza.
Yeah.
Is a rice lager, and I think it's very approachable when you talk about this beer and the pizza are going to be spread out over 6 Spinatos locations, so all across the valley.
Nice.
So also kind of an olive branch to the people who are still warming up to craft beer.
Sure.
Where it's
Yeah.
like a rice lager is very approachable.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm thinking to the event where we've got, my friends and family coming down who are still kind of, they try the stuff that I'll bring to parties or get-togethers or whatnot, but they're not necessarily, excited about the taste of it. But this one, I'm going to be like, I'm telling you, if you're going to like a craft beer, this rice lager with the pizza, it's going to be phenomenal.
Heck yeah, man. I
So-
dig it. Well, if only I could try that. Oh wait, I have. I've been had for the last hour.
Yes, you're in it.
It's in my teeth, literally. Nah, man, I'm excited for you, dude. I'm gonna kick you off though. Let's get some experts on here with
100%.
All right, we got you there.
I was Tiger.
I was gonna say you're not a soft voice type of guy.
I am definitely not being an Italian.
Well, guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, this is the first time Spinatos has been represented on our podcast. So,
Woo-woo.
yeah,
Thanks for having us.
absolutely, man, absolutely. So, let's start off a little bit with Spinatos. What is introduce yourself first. Yourself.
Well, I'm Anthony Spinato. I am a second-generation owner of our family's business here, Spinatos Pizzeria and Family Kitchen.
All right, excellent. And
I'm Mike. I'm the head bartender for the company.
okay, all right. And how many locations you guys have?
We're sitting on 6. We are opening a 7th in Gilbert, and one of the new locations that make up that, actually it's going to be 8. Now that I think about it, we're in the Footprint Center, so we just became the official pizza of the Phoenix Suns and Mercury.
Hell yeah!
That's amazing opportunity.
Crazy
Congratulations!
Stuff. Thank you.
That's awesome. Nice. So, and you have this handsome gentleman over here modeling for you guys. I saw for modeling the pizza.
The Wizard of Zaz.
There he is.
So tell me a little bit about Spinatos. How long has Spinatos been around?
Well, we're going almost on 5 decades, right? So we're sitting, I think November 9th, we hit 48 years.
That's my birthday.
Oh, well,
I'll be 44 this November 9th.
I better see you at Spinatos.
I'll be there.
We'll take care of that birthday.
Okay. All right, that sounds good.
So yeah, my parents rolled out here from Chicago in the early 70s, opened up in 1974.
Okay.
And just one restaurant, 68th Street, McDowell, kind of Old Town Scottsdale.
Okay.
And my sister and I were, I'd say, just politely dragged to the restaurant on Saturdays and all summers long, know, and I just wanted to ride my bike.
Yeah.
I'm 6, 7, 8 years old, but we were shown the value of hard work.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And, and just a part of this thing. And I don't think either Nicole or myself ever thought we would continue in the business.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're still here is a testament to really what the industry is. It's just it's so relational, right? There's nothing like serving great food to great people and making people happy.
For sure. And hanging out with cool people too, right?
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So 8 locations is kind of what it's going to be very soon.
Yeah.
Right. The official pizza of the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Za in the house now.
Yeah,
right?
that's big. That's seriously big.
Well, in the collaboration aspect of it, I think that's really cool. Is not just the creating a pizza with a pizza influencer or a pizza blogger or whatever you would call Steven, but then to collaborate with a local brewery and have your own specific beer for this, like that's
Right.
pretty badass. So
Yeah, it's huge.
yeah,
Yeah, BRI.
Yeah, it was so much fun. We've never done this, right? So
Yeah.
to be honest, like we've never just dug in like this. And I think what's cool is, the Wizard of Za. I love pizza, right?
Yeah.
I'll eat at all sorts of different pizzerias, and he obviously eats everywhere, right? So for him to come with his passion for pizza,
Yeah.
and kind of, hey, I've got some thoughts, and then you rope in the Beer Research Institute, who just have that same type of passion for beer.
Yeah.
We all put our heads together, right? And it's like, what can we do? How can we come up with something special? So it was, I mean, listening and learning is what I did during this whole time, and kind of just let the Wizard of Za kind of, this is what I'm thinking, and I mean, wouldn't you say, I mean, he had a complete vision,
Oh,
Mike,
absolutely.
from the beginning?
Yeah.
He kind of came in and said, "This is sort of the pizza that I'm thinking. Chicago
Yeah.
tavern style pizza.
Yeah.
Sweet sauce. Little spicy, little Italian beef.
Yeah.
What kind of beer can we do with this?
Yeah.
And then Beer Research kind of came front and said, okay, we can do this or that. And we sort of landed on that kind of hoppy lager style that's going to really accentuate that spice that you have from the giardiniera on the pizza,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
the sweetness of the sauce, and it just is a great pairing,
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Well, what? Tell me a little bit about Spinatos food. Like, what is? Because you were asking me before I loved it. You're like, hey, how deep can I get into this? 'Cause
Yeah.
I can tell you're a passionate guy about what you do. So, what makes Spinatos?
Well, I'll say this first. Pull me out of the rabbit hole if I get into it too deep.
Oh,
But, so everybody always talks about the sauce, right?
Yeah.
So let me just start with that, right? So tomatoes. We were just having I was just having a conversation with Mike too, and my family at home, and I was trying to explain to my daughters like what a tomato is to an Italian, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And I said, if your mother was a food or was a vegetable, right, she would be a tomato.
Yeah.
Because she is everything to me, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and when you go to Italy, right, and you see how they choose their tomatoes, right? It isn't
Yeah.
just drop them in the basket, right? It's
Yeah.
they're holding them. They're it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tomatoes, right? Ours are grown through central all the way up to northern California. It's a family-owned business.
Okay.
Right? And because the climate is different from central to all the way to north, in the central part of California, they ripen sooner.
Okay.
So they literally ripen in season over 90 days.
Yeah.
And this family hired Italian engineers, right, who loves tomatoes more than Italians, and then engineers, and they designed all this equipment,
Yeah.
okay, to go on the pickers. So we would ride on the pickers in the fields, and they would harvest the tomatoes, bring it up on this big picker on this conveyor bed. It was literally infrared lasers, and it would literally, there would be this mechanical arm that would swat off anything that wasn't beautifully ripe.
Yeah.
That would go back into the ground and get composted,
Yeah.
right? Everything else would come back in on the truck, right? And what this family did was they spent like $6 million to move the USDA inspection station on their property rather than driving an hour down the road and an hour back.
Yeah.
So what happens is when these tomatoes are harvested, they are packed within 3 to 4 hours from when they come out of the ground.
Wow.
So they spent $6 million to shave off 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Weird. You're thinking, well, what's the big deal? Well, they figured that the Italian engineers, right, who
Yeah.
know and love tomatoes,
Yeah.
understood there's a difference in those 2 hours.
Yeah.
So they're packed fresh. We spend, you can't get something great from something good or something mediocre.
Sure.
So I think, you always start with great ingredients, and we never start with a price point in mind. That's one of the things that I don't get hung up on. I just start looking at what ingredients are available, how good do they taste, right? And then you put it together, and then you food cost it and go, okay, what's this look like? Does this fit on our menu? So
Sure.
the tomatoes, we have a family kitchen that makes 37 of our proprietary ingredients. It's right at our family headquarters.
Okay.
We cold ferment our dough,
Yeah.
for 48 hours before we even send it into the restaurants. And I can go on like dressings, sauces, desserts, everything that we do is done by that chef level in our family kitchen and then delivered to our restaurants. And then what our team at our restaurants is doing, right, is they're just crafting the right amounts together to make what it is you get to enjoy. So I hope I didn't get too
That was
deep
great.
in, but
That was great.
it's a lot of they're kind of the unknown part of our company. So when you see family kitchen on the sign, right, it's us making sure, like, one guy just makes the dough.
Yeah.
It's a living, breathing organism, right? So if you have we have 8 locations now. If you have 8 locations, you'd have 8 to maybe 16 people making the dough. You're going to have 8 to 16 different results.
Sure.
So if you have one, and we do about 30,000 pounds of dough out of our family kitchen per month, right? But that guy's just focused on dough.
Yeah.
And they love it, right?
Yeah.
It's like that's all they do. Eat, breathe, and sleep. Right, they're the dough pro.
Yeah.
So that's kind of I'll shut up there. That's kind of a good look in. To kind of where what a lot of people don't know about Spinatos.
Dude, I'm in. I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't been to a Spinatos yet, but sounds like my birthday is the perfect time
we'll make that happen.
to come. But no, I mean the that approach to it, I love that. And we have another podcast called A Taste of AZ that's all focused on food and beverage outside of beer. So I would love to have you on and have the whole story of Spinatos and come into your place and eat all the food, because that's what I do well.
Oh man, yeah.
So, and you with the bartending side of things and the alcohol side of things. Tell me a little bit about how you approach that, right? Because there could be you have the whole spectrum from like whatever the rep gives us to I want every single thing specific. So how do you guys approach that side of things?
Yeah, absolutely. So we really try to be as uniform as we can be, kind of across our stores.
Yeah.
So you can go into one location and have the same experience as you would from another location as well. So that translates to our menu and our signature cocktail list. Signature cocktail list is kind of unique as well, because we pull in all of our bartenders and staff over 21 to kind of compete to get a spot on that menu.
Nice.
And
I like that.
do like a big cocktail war, and they get their name listed on it, and there's prizes and all that for the staff that's involved. But yeah, it's a big uniformity is one of the biggest things.
Sure.
We also really strive to be as local as possible.
Okay.
Like our house, Red and White, our provisioner, which is a local Arizona winery.
Yeah.
Our taps, we try to have it kind of be where it's more tipped towards local. You got to have your Coors Lights. You got to have, being an Italian restaurant, you got to have your Peroni. But aside from that, we really try to bring in, places like BRI or, Four Peaks, or, the independent ones, as well.
Yep.
So, that's kind of that in a nutshell.
Yeah. How do you guys go about? Is there pairings? Like, is that a part of the repertoire? I guess at Spinatos is the guided pairing type of things of like, oh, we suggest this with that, or so on request.
Right. So we train our servers. To kind of say that this Montepulciano goes well with our Italian beef sandwich. And we kind of run them through that. And we get training, from some of the companies that provide our wines and
Nice.
kind of all of that as to what kind of pairs well, and we translate that to our staff. And then doing collabs like this, with the Wizard of Za and BRI, this is a big pairing. This is like I guess the mama of it.
Well, they were made for one another, which is what's neat. It's like once BRI understood what was on this pizza, right? They did what they do. They go, okay, this is what's gonna go well with it. So it was just like literally a match made in heaven. And so this is the first time we've gone to this length of, and so dependent on how this goes, right, and how people respond to it, which I think will be really positive.
So do I.
I think we're just going to dive in even more, just deeper. and look at, okay, what else can we do, and just continue to have fun like this.
Yeah.
More on that to come, absolutely.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, we've got some wheels turning. You know,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. Well, what did you think of the when Steven came with the idea for the pizza? Like, here's kind of what I'm like for you. So you being the the guy at Spinatos, right?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think he had 3 suggestions, right? He gave us 3 different suggestions,
They
and
were
then
all good.
I chimed in and I said, we don't have this ingredient, and here's how we would do this. So we put those 3 different pizzas, cooked them, and then there was probably 10 or 12 of us around,
Yeah.
and we all tasted the pizzas and just focused on the pizzas themselves first, right? And then I think it was pretty unanimous that this tavern style, the Italian beef, the giardiniera, some extra peppers, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of rose to the top, you
Yeah.
know. And
You could see him get excited about it
Yeah.
too. You know, he took bites of all the pizzas and it was great, and then he took bites of the one that he chose, and it was
Yeah.
like you could see it in his face.
Yeah.
He was excited about
he
it.
was, and what we wanted to be careful of, right, is if somebody has a passion and a vision, right? I've learned this the hard way. Of trying, you try and have your vision, and you collaborate, and then you end up somewhere more on your side rather than on their side. And I think always, you just got to surrender that a lot, and see what else people bring to the table. And so I wasn't really trying to steer him away from anything. And to Mike's point, he just responded. This was his favorite pizza, and so it made sense because I wanted to it's not about what I want it to be. It's about what we think is best and what he absolutely was passionate about. So to me, that was the right way to go without tweaking much. I mean, but he knows his stuff.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, hey, you need to kind of shift this and do this. He's the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah. Boom.
he
Nailed
figured
it.
it out, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
It's not an anchovy pineapple pizza.
That's right.
Now that I would have had to jump in on. I'd be like, hold on a second. But
Well, let me ask you something then, because this is a pizza that so my wife's from Minnesota. She's from western Minnesota, closer to Fargo, North Dakota area.
Right.
And there's a chain of pizza / Mexican places, and they're all on lakes. They're called Zorbas, and it's the weirdest combination, right? Because it's a bunch of Norwegians, and they've got a Mexican / pizza place on a lake, right?
Uh-huh.
But they have this pizza called the Loudon, and it is it's peanut butter, a thin layer of peanut butter.
Okay.
And then red sauce, cheese, fresh jalapenos, and pepperoni, right?
No
Yeah.
kidding.
And I'm like, what? And my wife's friends were like, I'm telling you, man, you got to try it. I'm like, all right, So after hanging out there for a while, we ordered one, and it was fantastic. So now I remake it at home, but I don't do fresh jalapenos. I do pickled. Yeah,
Yep.
I like that a little bit better.
Yep.
But it's fantastic. It is so really good.
Peanut butter, red sauce, pepperoni, pickled jalapenos, and what, mozzarella?
Yeah,
Or-
and honestly, it's not even.
That's right,
No
Anthony.
kidding.
It is, and you got to be very. It's a real thin layer of the peanut butter, right? Because
Right.
then when you
Yeah.
taste it, you can really taste it, but you can't. You're not like, oh man, is that peanut butter?
Yeah.
It's not like
not a peanut
melted.
butter
You just
pizza.
get a little
Yeah.
nuttiness
Yeah.
of that and that
Little
richness.
creaminess.
Yep.
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, so,
I'm
I
gonna have to
mean-
write that down.
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
goes
no
right
Wizard
out.
of Zob, but man, Tap That AZ can come up with some ideas
There
too.
we go.
There we go. You
Don't doubt
maybe
it.
onto something there.
Yeah. So, well, guys, thanks for joining. Anything else you wanted to add about the Spinatos or anything like that?
I think just because you've asked the question about what Spinatos is, what makes it special, and everybody always comments about the sauce and some things, but I say this, and it's probably not as sexy and as exciting, but I'm telling you, we got guys like Mike. They've been with us for 10, 12, 15 years. We have such little turnover. I think restaurant turnover average is about 170%.
It's
We
huge
are
right
so
now.
blessed to be. We are like 50%.
Yeah.
Our people, our staff, are what make our business go. I mean, without the right people, we don't get to deliver the experience. And genuinely, we hire hearts,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then we show them what to do with their hands,
Sure.
And so I always think, my family and I, there's 6 of us. we're all third owners. We meet every week and we reflect on where is our strength? What is our strength? And people always say, "Oh, it's the pizza, it's the pizza." It's the people,
Sure.
And so, I'd always invite people to come in and say, "Listen, our people would genuinely have a heart for loving on you, taking care of you.
Yeah.
We don't tell our servers to turn tables in 52 minutes. There's no time. And if they say, "Oh, I got campers," I'll say, count it a blessing, because they look at our restaurant as a place that they want to come and meet and spend. If they sit there for 3 hours, they sit there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It shows you what you've done to make people feel genuinely comfortable, and welcome. And so that, I think, just it always sometimes gets overlooked because people really enjoy the food.
Sure.
But it's the people behind it all that make this whole thing what it is. So I never want to miss an opportunity to acknowledge that, say thank you to them, but to invite, people who don't know about who we are, come on in and just experience the service and the love. All it is what we grew up learning how to do. Is just we never went to school for this. My dad doesn't have a college education in this. We just take care of you the way we would if you came over to our home.
Yeah.
And that's what you can expect at a Spinatos.
Nailed it, man. Nailed it. You got several mic drop moments in that one, but that was the best one.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much. This was great. Like I said, I would love to come down and feature Spinatos. You don't have to share the limelight with Steven, Wizard of Za. But no, thank you again. And I'm going to get the beer guys on, see what they have to say.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fun begins now, right?
Yes,
Really,
yes.
If you remember the last podcast we did together, I was, very well behaved.
You were very well behaved.
I know.
That's why I scheduled it at 11 a.m. because I knew that. Cheers, buddy.
Because you've done it with me before.
Yeah. Cheers, LaRue.
Cheers. Good day, sir.
Oh, good day.
Yeah.
We're rolling, man. We're rolling. We had to, save
Let's do it.
you guys for last because I'm sure shit's gonna break. People are gonna get ejected somehow, but that's why.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, guys, welcome to the podcast,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Matt Trethaway
That's me.
and Mark
LaRue.
LaRue. Do you go by LaRue or Mark? It doesn't matter.
Most people just know me as LaRue. So
LaRue. Okay, yeah.
LaRue, Mark LaRue, DJ LaRue.
all these
DJ,
things.
yeah. You are all the things. I'll
The
bring this
brewer.
up. You're a tall guy.
He is.
There you go. Is that a little more comfortable?
Works.
All right, cool.
Okay, cool. Well, let's roll, bud. What's going on?
Man,
What's happening?
this is
What are we-
awesome.
What are we doing here today? What's happening?
Well, apparently we're eating pizza and drinking beer for a reason, like a specific purpose.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that the pizza that we were eating was the actual pizza that was
That's
going
the
up.
pie, man.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So Steven's describing. I'm like, man, that sounds really good. And he's
Yeah.
like, you've been eating it. I'm like, oh, it's that one. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah. What the hell? I'm like,
And then
"All
you're
right, now
drinking
it
the
makes
beer
sense."
too, and
Yeah.
and so we were talking with Erica earlier. The pizza standing alone by itself is absolutely amazing,
It is fantastic.
and then the beer by itself, absolutely amazing, right? And then when you put the two of them together in the pairing,
What is bigger than absolutely amazing times two?
really
Ice
really,
cold.
really ice cold. What's cooler than being cool? Yeah.
So
Everything turned out great. We're super stoked.
yeah,
For it.
tell me about the first you heard about this.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
Erica reached out to me and she said, "Hey, Steven, Wizard of Za, is
The one and
looking to-
only,
yeah,
right?
the one and only is talking to us about doing a pizza collaboration. He wants to get a brewery involved, and he pitched you guys." And I was like, "Oh, wow, that's super flattering."
Yeah.
And Steve's been a great supporter of ours for the last couple of years. He's a huge Crispy Boys fan, so and I think Crispy Boys really lends itself to pizza for sure. So that's kind of that was the impetus of it, is that they decided they wanted to do something together and they wanted a local brewery involved, and he kind of pitched us, and so when they brought it to our plate, we were like, yeah, of course, let's do that. A very, very strong local brand in the food sector. Clearly a very strong brand in the beer sector.
Yeah.
And then Steve is a very highly regarded, very serious local influencer
Yeah.
when it comes to beer and food. So, kind of duh, right? Yes, let's do this.
Yeah.
It was an amazing, because, and you've been with us for a long time, right? Now I don't want to say following, because you've been with us for a long
I appreciate
time, right?
that, man. Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things that BRI has heavily focused on in the last 8 years is food and beer pairings. We do one a month at the brewery. We do, the 2 big annual beer pairing dinners, the 4-course beer pairing dinners. So, like, beer and food pairing together, like, that's the impetus of our entire company.
Yeah.
So, when a third party who is very well known and very highly regarded around the valley wants to do a food and beer pairing with us, hell yeah. Let's do it. Let's have fun.
So how did you guys come up with what you're gonna do?
So we kind of, when I think pizza and beer, we did kind of discuss different beer styles to go with. But I mean, sometimes the obvious one is the right one to go with.
For sure.
Just a lager. I mean, like lagers, and like when you think pizza and beer, you're not usually thinking, oh, like an imperial stout to go with my. Like no,
you want beer flavored beer.
Yeah, you're looking for a lager, and so we just kind of decided, kind of looking at the Rice Krispie Boys, just kind of amp that up a little bit, and then the main idea was to how to make it actually work as a pairing.
Okay.
And the Spinatos sauce is like it's the thing that kind of carries them through. Like it is such a main part of.
It's very unique to their brand, for sure.
Right, and like the spiciness of that, and I will say that I spent a few years in Chicago, and this pizza it reminds me of Side Street. That was, I think it was in Lakeview, little corner bar that did amazing pizza, and that jardiniere on the pizza. It is such a Chicago thing, and it speaks to my soul.
Can we get a chef kiss?
Okay. Yes.
I think
okay. That's for the camera too.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Towards me too. So I appreciate that.
Works great in an audio format. But so kind of just the jardiniere of not being hot but being spicy, and so looking for a little bit of a spice to go into the beer, and like kind of so looking around for like different hops, because most hops that people are using now are like super tropical, and they're looking for all the different citrusy kind of notes. And so Altus, which is kind of a newer hop brand, or a newer hop to be around, and And it has a little spiciness to it, and so just a little bit of that late in the right at the end of the boil, just to get that AB. I definitely want to make sure that I refer to it as a hopped lager, and absolutely not a hoppy lager.
Why?
Like, it is not hoppy, but it is hopped. So it does have, and I think it plays amazingly well, because you get a little bit of spice on the back end of the beer that mixes with that sauce, and like when you have a beer that's really great and you have a pizza that's really great, and you put those things together, and they just hug it out.
Dude, the only missing ingredient is people, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's the only missing ingredient.
That's where you guys come in.
Right. So one of the things that that was like such a banger to me on their pizza was again like what Mark's talking about. It's their sauce. So their sauce is like highly, like very heavily. Has a huge oregano content to it, right? And oregano is danky, and it's very spicy when it's like in high levels. And so again, like Mark's selection on the hop to match with that spiciness, that pepperiness. I don't know, man. I think we hit a home run. I think anybody that comes to Spinatos on the 2nd of September or any day forward, as long as we're running this collab, they're gonna be blown away. Yeah, it's a solid combo.
So that's the plan. It's September 2nd, right? At
September
Spinatos.
2nd at Spinatos in Tempe, and I believe it starts at 5 or 6 o'clock, I think.
Yeah, people can find it.
Yes. We don't work for Spinatos, so we don't know.
I had the Spinatos guys on it.
What I'm going to say is, I'm going to say the evening of September 2nd.
Yes,
the evening of September 2nd. What I would encourage you to do is, get off your couch. Don't order Little Caesars tonight. Instead, get your ass down to Spinatos in Tempe. Have some amazing pizza. Have some great beer paired with it. BRI crew is going to be in full effect. Clearly, Spinatos is going to have their whole crew there. It should be a really good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, what else? What else is new with BRI? What do you guys? I mean, I was just here a couple months ago, so I'm sure a lot of new shit has happened. Since
Well, I
then.
mean, I tell you what, man. So, like for like in our base camp, what we're really working on right now is these fall beers. So,
Okay.
O-Fest is coming back out, hot and fast. What's the date on that, Mark?
We will have it in cans by the beginning of September.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Oktoberfest all through September and October. We are starting to diligently plan our 8-year anniversary party in November.
Okay.
And that will take a couple months to flush out and make sure we get it all right. And
yeah.
do something that's worthy of an 8-year anniversary. And you got to keep in mind that we had 2 straight years where we really couldn't do
Yeah.
the old school party that we used to do.
Yeah.
And what we like to do is capture some of that parking lot and do an extension of premises and have people there to enjoy themselves all day long with live music and craft beer and a very specific menu for the day. And we just weren't able to do that. So I think this year, I don't know, we might pull our dicks out a little bit. I'm not sure. We might get a little silly this year. But there's that
Make up for that time.
Yeah, that plans. We got a couple years that we got to make up for. So I think we might do something stupid this year. But even if we don't, like whether it's low key or it's a huge extravaganza, we will have the expansion, the extension of premises. We will have a great time like we always have.
Yeah.
We'll have specialty beers on. We'll have, we'll just have some stuff to get people amped up about.
Oh yeah.
It'll be fun.
Always do.
Yeah.
Food, beer, good times.
That's it.
Video games. Is it? Do I call them video games or arcade games? I should call them, huh? Because I know.
Oh yeah, these are all arcade games, and then we've
See
got.
the anger in his eyes. He's like, video games.
I'm not going to punch you today.
Cabinets, bro. They're
Ma-
cabinets.
Mainly because you're bigger than me and I'm intimidated. But no, I mean there are arcade games, and we do have them over at the brewery, and maybe for the anniversary, maybe we pull a couple from over here, just make like a little bit more rounded experience. But I also like keeping both brands, like even though they're tied under the BRI umbrella, both these places are absolutely completely different.
Sure.
And the only unifying feature between the two of them is the name on the building and the beer that we serve.
Yeah.
Everything else is really a different vibe. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
So we talked about the beer a little bit. I mean, as far as like style and all that, what you guys did, to create it. But name, what is the name of the beer?
Fire and rice.
Fire and rice.
It's a rice lager, bro.
yeah,
you see what we did here? You see what we did?
Man.
A little
Fire and
spice on
rice.
there. Come on.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I got to turn this thing off. This thing's gonna burn up.
Easy.
Shout out to the wizard and his. I think it was somebody on
Yeah.
his IG
It was-
that came up with the name.
Yeah,
so.
it was definitely the Wizard of Za Army that came up with that, and he put it out for even make the collaboration bigger, right? Involve the people in it, and so I think the people on his IG following helped him come up with the name there, and I don't know, man, we're super excited. Steve's a great promoter,
Yeah.
and Spinatos, like I've been eating Spinatos for years, man, and I've been drinking BRI for years too.
right.
So works out pretty good.
So, and the beer will be available at Spinatos starting on the 2nd.
Correct.
Will you guys have it here?
We'll have it at both locations.
At
yes.
both locations.
So we made enough to where we can supply Spinatos with all the beer they're going to need for the month as
Yeah.
we go through this pairing and promotion, but also so that when people enjoy it over there, and clearly one of the things that hopefully everybody understands is when you do a collaboration, what you're supposed to be doing is supporting each other's business. So
Yeah.
we want people that go to Spinatos and enjoy the pizza and beer pairing that maybe have never heard of BRI before. We want them to be able to go, well, hey, where can I get this? And then be able to come to our brewery, and they'll be able to do that. So yeah, I think we've got an ample supply to supply not only the brewery but also the tap room.
Nice.
And you'll be able to get it at 8 different locations, 7 different locations, because we're doing it at 5 Spinatos and then R2.
Okay. Okay. Packaged at all or just kegs?
Just
on
kegs,
draft?
just
Okay.
on draft. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then clearly we don't make Spinatos pizza either. So if you want the pairing, get Spinatos.
And then come here and try the 480 OG, and then
Yes.
the brick, and then
Get
all the others.
get another pint of Fire and Rice, and then just start exploring everything else we do.
Yeah.
But we will crowler fire and rice for
Okay.
you over at the brewery.
Okay.
At the brewery
Good to
for
know.
sure, yeah.
There
If
you
you
go.
need to go, yeah, we'll definitely always stack those crawlers up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Nice work, guys.
Cool.
Always good seeing you.
Are we good?
We're good.
Did we cover everything?
Yeah.
We
Right?
good?
Did we?
I think we did.
I think we did.
I
Yeah.
feel good.
You
Can I
guys
get one?
Hell yeah, right there, man.
There it
right
is.
There. We covered everything with the other guys.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring you guys on just to make you feel good. You know? Just kidding.
What a bunch of bullshit
Nah,
that is! Like
you-
this pandering, this like.
Gotta stroke
I'm
the
just
ego.
I'm just gonna hook them in. All right. No, we. I love. There's no other mic in the world that I would rather be on than yours.
Appreciate that,
Okay?
my friend.
All right.
Thank
be good,
you.
bud.
All right.
Thank you.
Cheers.